Guys, it's Ashley from theawakenedstate.net. Today we're going to talk about the flow state. So this is one of the most powerful things that you can truly tap into when it comes to the manifestation journey. And ultimately what you're trying to do is really go into that place in your mind that goes beyond the ego, beyond the fear, beyond the conditioning, and into that space of true flow. So let's get started. Hey, okay, it is Ashley from theawakenedstate.net. I am here to give you videos on manifestation, energy work, spiritual awakening, kundalini, chakras, and all sorts of goodness on how to transcend your mindset into a place of an emotional empowerment. So today I want to talk about the concept of the flow state. Now, when we think about flow state, a lot of us might hear this term and we might be kind of caught up in this kind of like woo-woo mentality of like, get into the flow, like there's no negative energy, or like we have to be super high vibe to access this state of consciousness. And I'm here to break it to you that that's not necessarily the case. We don't have to make sure we're like forcing ourselves to be positive, trying to access positive thoughts only, and kind of being in this space where we feel like we have to be super amped up, like such as like dance around your house all the time and do all these high vibe positive activities to get into this high vibe flow state. And while yeah, that stuff can help you, I'm here to also tell you that the flow state is literally like a matter of dropping in fully to who you truly are. And it's always like on tap. Like you can choose to access that part of you no matter what. Like it doesn't matter if you're in a negative emotion. Like that's the thing about emotions. Like we can transcend emotions. Like emotions can change like the weather. So for you to only manifest strictly from a place of emotion alone can really kind of be of disservice to yourself, because you can see how emotions can change as quickly as the weather. So you can literally drop into a flow state even when you're upset. So even when you're like mad or upset, or maybe just feeling a little bit like unmotivated, like you can allow yourself to drop in fully to the flow state. And so one thing that I love to talk on is when you are super unmotivated, or you're really kind of down, or you just kind of feel like, ugh, that kind of feeling, when you're in that space of uncertainty, unmotivated, like really getting like caught up in your head a lot, where you may feel like doubtful or uncertain, any of those kind of vibes, when we're in that space, we can choose to literally train ourselves out of it. And we can do that by getting back into the flow. And so one thing I love to teach on and really just say is, when we have writer's block, or we're unmotivated, or we're just stuck, the best thing we can do is just do the thing anyway. Because what will occur naturally is we will literally drop into the flow state. And so whenever I have writer's block with my journaling, all I know is if I just keep writing, no matter if it's crap, no matter if it doesn't even make sense to me, I know if I keep writing and I keep writing, eventually it's going to click in and lock in, and I'm going to jump into the flow state. And so when we look at the flow state, this is the part of you that is beyond the ego, beyond the fear mind, beyond the conditioning. And it's like we drop into that soul flow consciousness when we go beyond the ego. So to go beyond the ego is to really kind of push past your own resistance points to literally drop into soul. And so it's like a relentlessness to digging into soul. And when you feel into that concept, it's about the flow state is always there to tap into. But a lot of us don't want to go beyond the ego. We don't want to go beyond our own resistance. It's kind of like when you're working out and the workout is hard, but then you just keep going anyway, and you kind of access almost this supernatural power of like, you just go for it and complete the workout anyway. And then before you know it, the workout's done and you're like, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was, but my resistance was making it harder than what it actually was. So this is the same kind of concept. So when you consider the flow state, I want you to look at how are you not allowing yourself to fully drop in? Because a lot of us, we get caught up in the resistance, we stay in the unmotivation, we stay in that particular emotion, and we don't allow that emotion to move through us and like move beyond us. Because that's the thing. And I love how Katrina Roof always says, remove the emotion anyway and get to work. And it's really like remove the emotion and do it anyway. Because what will naturally occur, and this is my tip for you today, is it's not about spiritually bypassing that emotion. It's more like you're allowing that emotion to move through you. And that's the deepest like secret of really combating resistance. Like resistance is always there. Your past is always there. Like the resistance will be there because the ego is trying on new things. But are you going to stop on the middle of the mountain and say, I don't know about this. I think I'm going to go back down the mountain. Or are you going to climb to the goddamn mountain? There's a difference. Are you going to allow yourself to drop in fully to soul? Or are you going to keep saying, I probably shouldn't do that today? Probably not. Because that's the difference. That's the difference between really tapping in fully to soul flow. And here's the thing, like you may have a conversation where I don't really know how to tap into the flow state. I don't really know what you're talking about, Ashley. But the truth is you do. This is a part of you. You have a natural ability to tap into the flow state. You can access this at any point in any time. You have to be willing to allow yourself to remove the emotion and drop in fully to move beyond the resistance and be pulled. Now, when you think about this in terms of really looking at yourself from a level of, well, am I allowing myself to truly go there? Well, you have to realize that you've already been there. Like, you have tapped into the flow state when you're writing like your term paper and you just keep writing and writing and writing and writing. When you drop in fully to the writing and you allow yourself to be with the writing, to become the wind, to be one with it, you're being one with the music, you're being one with that. When you are playing an instrument, when you are singing, when you are dropping into singing songs on the radio, when you are having a full conversation where you're just tapped in and you're just really in that flow, and suddenly hours pass and you're just like, what happened? You tapped into the flow state. We have access to this. We just don't realize how we're using it. Or we are seeing that we're using it, but we don't fully understand how to do it. And the reality is you can train your mind to use the flow state to your personal advantage, to allow the inspiration to come, to allow the ideas to come. So if you feel unmotivated or you're in doubt or you're in certainty, allow yourself to sit in the chair and allow the drop to happen. You have to allow yourself to be in the energy to allow the download. It's kind of like you can't do something different if you're sitting on the sidelines. You have to be out in the field prepared to get into the action. This is not like rocket science. When you think about it in terms of dropping in fully to the flow state, you have to be willing to say, can I look at my resistance? Can I see it square in the eye? And can I still do it anyway? Because that's how we really get past our own limitations. We say, I'm willing to actually just get up and take the action. Now, when we don't have that, there's usually some mindset work that's going on behind the scenes that may be stopping you from taking the action. And that's something, that I teach, and then I can go even further on with you. But for today, I just want you to tap into this concept of, can you allow yourself to push through and do it anyway? Can you allow yourself to be in the witness of the resistance, but allow yourself to drop in fully to soul and be in the flow state? Because that's what the flow state is truly about. It's about your willingness to be relentless to soul in a way where you are literally moving past the resistance. You're pushing through the resistance. The only way out is through. Okay, so that's your soul tip today. I want you to think about how can you begin to tap into the flow state in your own life so you can begin to understand how to get more motivated, more consistent with yourself, more dropped in with your soul, and reconnect to who you truly are. All right, I'll see you guys next time.